Hi, my name is Susan, and I share a brand new drawing video every single day. And I've been doing this for about 3 years now and still doing it. Recently, one of my drawings went viral on TikTok with 15 million views and over 1 million likes and still counting. So in this video, I will share with you some of my hypotheses for why this particular video went viral, as well as why I've been continuing to still share my drawings on a daily basis online. And the backdrop for all of this will be the full process for this particular drawing. Before I start, I want to caveat by saying I am not a pro content creator. The primary reason for why I've been sharing online are purely because I wanted to document my art drawing process, my progress, and use this as a way to measure myself. Am I actually improving, right? Because I think after you've been drawing something, a lot of times if you don't capture that particular moment, you tend to forget what are the struggles that you had, like which drawing did you spend the more time going back and forth on versus you just laid it down on paper and everything went according to plan. So that's why I've been recording myself and sharing these progress videos. And I started off on sharing on Instagram, followed by TikTok, and YouTube is actually the last one I started posting my daily process videos. So I'm not in this because I really wanted to make a viral video. I wasn't really trying to make a viral video to begin with. All I've been doing is trying to create a routine for myself that I can follow on a daily basis. And again, the primary reason for doing this is to capture my own progress. Okay, so with that said, I want to share with you my reasons and guesses for why this particular drawing went viral. And a ton of this reasoning is just based on the fact that I read through, I believe, every single one of the comments. Now, there were a lot of comments on this TikTok video, and the majority of it were not in English. The majority of it were in a different language, and I had to translate every single one of them so that I could understand what people were saying. And I did this because, well, number one, I was very curious. And number two, I also wanted to know, well, why this one? I've been doing this for almost 3 years now. Not on TikTok. On TikTok, it was less than 3 years, but still, I've been doing this on different social platforms for this long on a daily basis. What is it about this particular drawing that people were really interested in? And I found out through the comments. And what I've discovered, sadly, is that the majority of the comments were not even about the drawing itself, right? So how well you draw, how well you capture your progress, how much people like and appreciate your art is really secondary to whether a video of a drawing became viral or not. And I think a lot of artists talked about this as well. I've watched a lot of videos on YouTube where artists who turned content creators, who became influencers, who made, I believe, money off of sharing their progress, their drawing process online and sharing tutorials online, have mentioned this. How well you draw is really not an indicator of how successful you could be a content creator on social media platforms. So what is the primary reason that I found? Going back to some of the things I mentioned in the beginning that I promised you in the beginning of this video, is that I found that a ton of people, probably I would say more than 80% of people who commented, they were commenting on this video about the lead, the mechanical pencil lead that I've been using. And if you are not new here, you would know that I've been using these lead for a long time. And they're certainly not something that's revolutionary or anything like that. They are quite common in North America. I believe in any art supply stores in North America, you're able to find these. And they originated from Asia, I believe, because all of the brands that I've been using, they're from Japan. And I was born in Beijing, in China, and I do remember when I was little, I encountered these lead as well. Some of these lead, they appear to be colored, but when you draw with them, they're actually still graphite. So they're just graphite with a color coating on it to make it look interesting. But some of them are entirely made using pigment powder, which renders the actual lead that you're using to be colorful, like the one that I've used in this drawing. And I've mentioned before that the reason I really like using these, as well as the cold erase color pencils, is because number one, they are erasable. So they behave just like graphite lead, just like normal graphite. And second of all, because they're colored, they're colorful. It's very interesting to use colorful lead instead of regular graphite lead. But the primary reason why I like to use these is just because they're less dirty looking compared to graphite. I used to just use graphite in my sketchbooks, and they smudge all over. They transfer the lead onto previous pages, so the sketch would just end up looking really dirty after a while. And because I've been doing these drawings on a daily basis, every single day I've been drawing with these, and I really wanted to keep it hassle-free, as little friction as I can to just pick it up and start drawing. So mechanical pencil with a color lead is the way to go for me personally. And a ton of the comments on this viral video were just about the lead. They were curious about where to get it, what is it, and a ton of people just commented on, or even added other people to come check out this lead, and they were surprised because I believe in certain parts of the world, in these countries, this lead is probably just not as popular. So a lot of people didn't know that existed. And people who do know these lead and are familiar with these lead, they also wanted to comment on it because they saw, oh my gosh, so many people did not know. They were not aware of the existence of colored mechanical pencil lead. So they also wanted to comment on it and say things like, I have it, I bought it, I use it, I grew up using it. This is something that I used when I was a teenager in school, so on and so forth. So there were a ton of comments on that. And another, I don't even think it's that controversial, but a lot of people commented on that, is the way I have loaded the lead. Now, if you rewind back to the beginning of the video, you'll see that I've loaded the mechanical lead from the front. And a lot of people thought, that's weird. Why do you load it that way? You're gonna break your lead if you load it from the front. That is not the proper way. You're doing it wrong. I think a lot of people comment on videos because they want to point out something that they believe to be true, that the person creating the video, sharing the video, is doing in a totally different way, and they don't agree with it. They think they're doing it wrong, and they need to comment on it so to let people know that either they feel like they want to spread the knowledge, or simply they want to prove people on the internet wrong, right? Which is a common feeling. I've had it before. If I see someone doing something completely stupid, I want to comment on it. I want to tell people, hey, there's a better way. Don't you know? Yeah, and then I found that a lot of the comments on that video were people commenting on my mistake. They think that you should not be loading a mechanical pencil lead from the front. It is just beyond silly. You're going to break your lead. You don't know what you're doing. So there were a lot of comments about that. In the beginning, I tried to reply and say that, hey, you could do it both ways. It's fine. Yes, a lot of people do load it from the back, but if you load it from the front, yes, you do risk the lead, you break it, but at the same time, it's so much faster, right? Again, I think People who has been watching me for a while know that I don't have a lot of patience, which is why I like using, when I paint, I like to use acrylic paint. It just dries, right? As well as gouache, it just dries. I don't use watercolor as frequently. I don't use oil. I haven't painted with oil for so long. And the reason for that is just because acrylic is faster. It dries so much quicker. There's no hassle. And with mechanical lead, it's the same thing. So I'm very fortunate that I live in Canada. So when I buy these mechanical pencil lead, the colored ones almost cost the same as regular lead. So to me, they are not overly expensive. So I don't feel the urge to really protect them or save them or anything like that. So even if I break a lead, it's not the end of the world for me. So, and honestly, a box, even with me drawing every single day with these, they last you a very long time. So having said that, yes, you're right. Everybody who commented on my videos, you're absolutely right. If you load the lead from the front of the pencil, you definitely risk breaking the lead, which is why I always try to be very careful when I'm pushing the lead in. But at the same time, it is a lot faster, and I will continuously be doing it that way. I will almost never put the lead from the back and keep pressing the knob so that the lead comes out. I almost never do that. In fact, the only times that I put lead from the back is so that when I'm traveling, I have extra lead in the pencil, so I use it as a storage. But when I run out of lead, I will still open, from the back, take the lead out, and then squeeze it in from the front, because I just know that way it's predictable, it's faster for me. I don't want to leave it to chances for the lead to come out from behind. That's just the way I am. I'm a little bit of a control freak. So I have always loaded my lead from the front, and that's the reason why. Okay, so 80% of the comments are about the lead. What about the rest of the 20%? The rest of the 20%, I did receive comments about how well I draw. There were a lot of comments that are just like, oh, you draw so well, blah, blah, blah. So there were comments like that. There were also a small percentage of comments about the music. They were asking about what music I used. To be honest, I spent such little effort on attaching a video, attaching a trending music to my videos. I always just use the preferred one on TikTok, or just something that sounds nice, that I think goes well with the video. I spent less than a minute, like a few seconds at max, to just choose a music video, and I have no idea whose music it is. As long as it's free to use on these social platforms, I would just use it. I know that a lot of people they talk about for your content to be successful, you need to spend time on figuring out the trendy music audios and things like that. I understand why people really are curious about that, and they want to use the viral clips. I personally have not done that because, again, for me, the primary focus for sharing these videos is just so that it pushes me to continuously draw. The drawing itself is my reward, and not particularly on whether I hit a viral video, not particularly on growing a large community or following or anything like that. I think they are the byproduct. I appreciate people looking at my art. I appreciate people following, and I appreciate people commenting. I definitely do. I reply to every single one of the comments, and I would definitely read every single one of your comments as well. And when I listen to the community and a lot of people want me to share art tutorials, I do that, right? I shared a lot of art tutorials on YouTube because even if it helps just a single person, I think it's good. It's a good thing. The content I'm creating is good for the community, and even if it's just benefiting for one person, I will probably be continuously doing it. But the primary reason why I'm doing all this for my selfish reasons is because I want to continuously improve my drawing skills, and I want to keep this up. I love drawing, I love art, and I've been doing this ever since I was a little girl. I don't want to live without art being a part of me. But having said that, life goes on, and there's so much other responsibilities, social responsibilities, job responsibilities. Those are the things that I still do enjoy, and I want to fulfill my life with those things as well. But I do realize that keeping up a habit to continuously drawing on a daily basis is a challenging one. And sometimes you need some intrinsic value, some motivations from outward community to kind of push you forward and kind of promote you and engage you such that you have some other reasons other than just you wanting to do something to help you. And for me, it's the social platform. It's the fact that I kind of made a promise to myself and to the community that every single day I'm going to do a brand new drawing video. I made that a goal for myself. It's a process-driven goal. It's a small one. It's not large, right? All of my drawing videos, they are less than 30 minutes. Usually I cut it off at 20 minutes, right? This particular drawing, I know the total clip end to end is probably 25 minutes, but in the beginning I was loading the pencil, whatnot. So still, less than 30 minutes. And all I'm doing is just sharing and just capturing, recording myself, right, from end to end. Even this video that I'm sharing on YouTube with the voiceover, I'm not spending a ton of time on this because I can't afford to. I don't have a ton of time spent on all of this, so I need to be as efficient as I possibly can. And to be as efficient as I possibly can, I still need to adhere to the goals that I have in mind, which is to draw something within the time limit on a daily basis, capture my progress, and share it with the world. I really hope that I can continuously be doing this. I've been doing it for 3 years now. I want to continue doing this until one day I feel like I'm a master at this. I can do this even faster. Instead of 20-minute drawings, I can do the same kind of drawing in 10 minutes. Or I will start moving into other mediums. Instead of doing these pencil drawings or marker drawings, I will do acrylic painting in 30 minutes. That would be wonderful. All of my acrylic paintings, even if it's the small ones, they are mostly over an hour. And nowadays, I don't really have, on a daily basis, an hour to 2 hours to spend on a particular piece of painting. So I haven't been painting for a while. That's definitely something that I want to get back in. And I'm going to have to make a goal for myself. Perhaps, something like a small painting a month, right? Carve out a chunk of time, 2 to 4 hours, such that I can spend time on doing painting. I purchased many canvases, and they're just sitting behind me in my studio, and I haven't been able to open the packaging on any one of them because I haven't been able to find the time to do so. And I definitely want to find the time to do that. That's been on my mind for a very long time. So as soon as I'm able to do that, I will be sharing my progress with you on YouTube, on social media platforms, because this community has been pushing me forward, pushing me to continuously be sharing an art process video on a daily basis. And thank you for doing that. I think lastly, I will ask a few questions back to the community. So one of the things I've been wondering is, because so many people were curious about the different types of lead or colored lead that I use, would it be helpful if I go into depth about kind of like the properties that I found using these lead, how I prefer to use them, and things like that? And I have a few other ideas as well, including doing, using different mediums to draw the same drawing, and seeing the different kinds of results. And yeah, and lastly is just doing a painting. I think I really wanted to get back into doing paintings because I haven't been doing that for a very long time. This drawing is almost coming to an end, and now what I want to do is kind of just do a review of how well I think this drawing went. I think I struggled a little bit in the beginning for capturing her eyes, for capturing that tilted eye look on her face. And the final drawing, do I like it? I do enjoy it. I think it's not bad of a capture. I have captured her likeness to a certain extent. I wasn't really particularly focused on capturing her likeness. When I saw her photo on Pinterest, I didn't really know who she is. I don't think she's famous, but let me know if I'm wrong. But what I was trying to capture is less about her likeness, but more about that look on her with her eyes, right? She has a kind of a pouty mouth. I wanted to capture that. And the primary thing I wanted to capture is just her eyes. The fact that she's looking up, the fact that she's she has that gaze. Even though she's not looking at you, you feel a certain intensity with her gaze, and I wanted to capture that. And I have stylized her to a certain extent. Because I don't really know who she is, I didn't really want to focus on capturing her likeness, so I made her eyes a little bit bigger subconsciously. And I only noticed that after I finished the drawing. I still maintained to capture that pouty mouth, right, the pouty lips. I captured the eyes, but I did stylize the rest of her features. Didn't really bother focusing on the shape to really focus on the shadow and the shapes within her nose area and the forehead. I kind of just blurred it out. Her eyebrows as well. Didn't really focus on capture her eyebrows exactly the way it is. And I really just focused on her eyes and her mouth because those are the two features that I gravitated towards and I think would be really interesting capturing. And overall, you can still see that this is the model that I draw. If you've encountered, this reference photo before on Pinterest, if you've seen this photo before, you probably would have recognized my drawing. But at the same time, it doesn't look like her identical, and I think that's fine. That's how I would like to use my reference photos, at least. I don't always try to capture the likeness. Sometimes if I'm drawing a celebrity and I do recognize who I'm drawing, I will focus more on capturing the likeness because that is someone I recognize. But most of the time, again, I don't really I don't watch a lot of shows either, so I don't know many celebrities. So sometimes I may be using a reference photo of a celebrity I don't even know about. So most of the time, I was not really focused on capturing the likeness of a particular model. I really just wanted to make my own goals, reviewing, looking at a particular reference photo and making my own drawing. I want to focus on making my own drawing really interesting to look at and less so about capturing the likeness of a particular model.